You know, when someone we love passes away, we're often left wondering, is there anything we can still do for them? Can our actions here in this world still make a difference in theirs? Well, one ancient Buddhist text offers a really fascinating and surprisingly specific answer to that very question.
It's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? Can we, the living, actually help those who have departed? According to this ancient text, the Kṣitigarbha Sutra, the answer is a big, definitive yes. But, and this is where it gets super interesting, it comes with a very specific number.
And there it is, 1/7. The sutra says that if we do good deeds in the name of the deceased, they get exactly 1/7 of that positive energy, that merit. Just 1/7. So you gotta wonder, why that exact fraction? And how in the world is it even possible for our actions here to affect someone, well, over there? The answer, it turns out, is deep in the Buddhist model of the mind.
Okay, so to really get how this transfer works, we need to talk about a core concept from the Yogacara school of Buddhist philosophy. It's called the Ālaya-vijñāna, or the Storehouse consciousness, and it's basically the entire foundation for how this is all supposed to work.
Think of your mind like a vast, deep storehouse. This is the Ālaya-vijñāna. Every single thing you think, every word you say, every action you take, it all plants a tiny seed in this storehouse. Good actions plant good seeds, not so good actions plant negative seeds, and they all just sit there waiting to ripen. So, how do these seeds get planted? The process has this beautiful name, perfuming. Imagine you walk through a field of lavender. That scent just kind of clings to your clothes, right? It's the same idea. When you do a good deed with a sincere intention for someone who's passed on, that positive energy perfumes your consciousness, and boom, a good seed gets planted in your mental storehouse.
And that brings us right back to the central puzzle. Okay, so a seed is planted in my storehouse. Great for me, but how does that do anything for somebody else? For this to work, there's got to be some kind of connection, a pathway between my storehouse and theirs. And according to Buddhist philosophy, there absolutely is.
You see, in this view, our minds aren't separate little islands. We're all interconnected nodes in this vast cosmic web known as Indra's net. Just picture a huge spider web covered in morning dew. Every single dewdrop reflects all the other dewdrops perfectly. A little vibration in one part of the net is felt everywhere. This is the network that allows the energy from your good deed to be received by the person you're dedicating it to.
Now, what's really cool is that the sutra itself doesn't just give us a dry philosophical lecture. It actually explores this whole idea through a fascinating story, and it features a character who asks the exact same question we've all been thinking about.
So in this story, this figure called the Great Eloquent Elder comes forward. He appears to be this wise old man, and he's got a question for the main figure in the text, the Bodhisattva Kṣitigarbha.
And he asks this seemingly simple question. A question that's probably on the mind of anyone hearing this story for the first time. It's so direct, so practical. It gets right to the point. How much of our effort actually gets through to them? But here's where the story takes this brilliant little twist. Was this elder just a curious old guy? Or was there something deeper going on here? The sutra hints that his question wasn't actually born from ignorance, but from incredible wisdom and a whole lot of compassion.
And then we get the reveal. The great eloquent elder was no ordinary person. He was a highly realized, fully enlightened being. He already knew the answer. He wasn't asking for himself. He was asking for us, for all the future generations who would struggle with the same doubt. He asked the question so that we could hear the answer.
And the fact that he was enlightened points to an even deeper truth here, a perspective that goes way beyond the simple math of 1/7 and completely reframes how we even think about life and death. This is the wisdom he had already realized. It's the profound understanding that everything is just part of one continuous flow. Nothing is ever truly created out of nothing, so nothing can ever be truly destroyed. From this incredible vantage point, life and death aren't these hard stops and starts, they're just transitions in one unbroken stream. This wisdom has a name, Anutpatika Dharmaka Kshanti. Now, if this idea of a giant interconnected consciousness network sounds a little out there or a bit mystical, well, you might be surprised to hear it has a fascinating parallel in a very modern field, quantum physics.
It's pretty wild. On one side, you've got the ancient wisdom of Indra's net, this web of interconnected minds. And on the other, you have the modern science of quantum entanglement. This is that bizarre phenomenon where two particles can become linked, and whatever happens to one instantly affects the other, even if they're on opposite sides of the universe. Both of these ideas point to what's called a non-local universe, a universe that is fundamentally, deeply interconnected.
So whether you want to call it Indra's net or non-locality, the core idea is shockingly similar. A focused intention, a powerful thought that's generated right here, can have an instantaneous effect somewhere else entirely, completely transcending our normal ideas about space and time. It's like science is finding an echo of what this sutra has been saying for thousands of years. So, okay, after this wild journey through consciousness, Indra's net, and even quantum physics, what's the actual takeaway here? The sutra brings us back to a conclusion that's really personal, and frankly, very empowering. And this brings us to a really pivotal point. Remember that 1/7 of the merit that goes to the deceased? Well, what about the other 6/7? That goes to you, the person actually doing the good deed. So the real core message of the sutra is about self-reliance. The most powerful thing you can do is cultivate your own wisdom, because the merit from your own practice benefits you completely. You get the whole 7/7.
Ultimately, the greatest gift we can give to anyone we love, whether they're living or have passed on, is to work on ourselves. By cultivating our own wisdom and compassion, we generate the full measure of merit. And from that place of fullness, the act of dedicating that positive energy to others becomes this incredibly powerful and selfless expression of love. It's flowing from abundance, not from a sense of lack.
Which leaves us with one last really big question to chew on. We started this whole thing by asking if we can help the dead. But if all of our consciousness is truly connected like Indra's net, if a tiny ripple in my mind can really be felt across the entire web, then is my own spiritual progress, my own awakening, is it ever really just for me? Or is it a gift to the entire universe? Something to think about.